Yesterday, Ray's weather said something like, "Hold on to your pants, it's not over yet." Or something of that nature that said, "Keep at it, right? Winter is not done." And so here I sit in our space where for 6 weeks we've been wondering about what it means to not keep climbing the ladder, but to notice what is blooming or needs nourishing or is growing right here where we are. And so here in the midst of winter still, as forsythia is blooming and azalea is blooming, that we're still on the journey. And that is important for us to hear, for we also need to continue that COVID is still here among us as well. For those who were here last Sunday, you've received an email that said Elizabeth Buchanan tested positive. And in this email, it's also going to say that Maggie Christenberry tested positive yesterday as well. And so those were two that were pretty adamant about wearing their masks and staying safe and doing what they could. And in living their lives exactly where they are, with Maggie, Katie and Owen and Cole and Theo all have COVID. And in being caretakers, even while wearing a mask, because those viral loads are still out there, well, she now has COVID and is getting an infusion this very morning that I record this. And yesterday, Elizabeth took her medication and she's feeling much better today. But those are two people, if you wanted to reach out to them and give them a supportive word, to hold them in your prayers, that would be a good thing to do. And for you who are wondering when this thing will be over, well, you're welcome to join me and we can lament together and shake our fists. When I got the text, all I could say was, "Damnation, this virus," because it's still here. And there are those moments that in our own resistance and faith that we can shake our fists and say, "Damnation, when are we going to be released from this virus?" And in the meantime, we continue to notice what is growing right here among us. We continue to notice the light that is right here among us and to celebrate that, for that is a piece of the resistance. And so this Sunday in worship, the story is of a palm parade. And in the midst of oppression, a piece of our resistance is to know how to celebrate. Even as Rab Scrabble or whatever the word would be, on a donkey, as opposed to a fine steed, with feet dangling the ground. We can still understand celebration. And a piece of our celebration coming on April the 17th, which would be Easter Sunday, is this wonderful display is going to have your blooms added to it. So this Easter Sunday, as we have wondered about what is enough, how do we know a faith strong enough, a hope enough to get us to the next day, a love enough that says, "I'm willing to receive all that you have to offer to me." I'm going to ask you in these next weeks, beginning this week, if you want, to begin to bring blooms. Because when that understanding of enoughness permeates our being, well, blooms erupt all over the place. And so I'm inviting you on Easter Sunday and the week before that to begin to bring your blooms, whatever that means for you, and to let us fill this space up with flowers abundant. With possibly this caveat, I know that Easter lilies actually are an amazing allergen for some people, and that's always the crux of these amazing opportunities, is how do we do this thing and add blooms here and attempt to respect those who have horrific allergies. And I don't know what all that means, because I'm not one of them. So maybe you reach out, or maybe those of you who have strict allergies, you let us know how best to celebrate the blooms that are among us, and to do that in a way that is as helpful to you as possible. Those aren't the right words, but I'm hoping that you will listen into the meaning of them and make them what they need to be. On this April the 8th, when outside the skies are blue, I've got on my winter sweater because this afternoon and this evening we will experience snow. And so those of you listening to this outside of the mountains, please pray for us to have more resistance and more strength as the blue skies will be taken over by gray snow clouds. And that's a piece of our journey, right? It's this continual wave. It's this continual up and down and joy and lament and grief and celebration. And how do we hold it all together? I think that is always our journey. And so I hope that you are on this journey with us, and that when you are needing a gift, that you will ask for what you need. When you are willing to offer what you have as gift to another, I hope that you will have the courage to do that, the temerity, the strength to do that as well. So a few announcements to make sure that you are aware of. This Sunday, the 10th, probably around 12:30, our council will have its April meeting. I know that the email has gone out to offer your agenda items. Again, if there's something that you really need on this April agenda, please send that in. And know that those meetings are always open to anybody who wants to show up. And so because this Sunday is Palm Sunday, what that means in much of the liturgical world is next week is Holy Week. On Friday, which is typically known as Good Friday, St. Luke's Episcopal Church, continuing on its 40 years of offering a community Good Friday service, will once again offer that next week at noon at St. Luke's Episcopal Church, which is right behind Earth Fair. Yours truly will be offering this third word. What that service is typically about are the last 7 words of Jesus. And so I will be offering a brief reflection on the third word, which is where Jesus looks at his mother and says, "Mother, behold your son." And he looks at John and says to John, "Behold your mother." So if you have some ideas on what that might mean, or how that has offered you life or hope, please be in contact with me. For this community service is really a piece of our own core of what it means to live into and through community. And in celebrating community, we have had these prayer stations up since the beginning of the year. This particular station, where we've been adding to this collage, new things are happening each week, so this was just added this last week. This collage, where is my passion? How do I understand the passion of hope, the passion of love lived out through me and within this community? And what is a hope for our community's passions? And so know that this is going to stay up, specifically because we are moving into celebrating our 20th anniversary. And to celebrate this momentous occasion, our words this year that our moderator has offered to us are reflect, renew, rejoice. And so I hope that you will take a moment in these next weeks and continue to add to this. And so maybe at your house, which is where this one came from, you create a collage or you create some images that you are willing to come and add to this greater collage. For this is helping us to understand our own faith and how we offering our gifts to the greater high country and beyond, as we celebrate that God's grace and hope and love is continuing to be nourished, and we're living out from those. So as we move post-Easter into what's called Eastertide, which then gets us to Pentecost and into the growing season of the summer, this collage is a symbol of how we know life, of how we bloom in the world, and how our church blooms in the world. This says, look for good in your world today. And so I'm going to invite you in these next weeks and months to continue to add to this. As you begin to notice those images that speak to you, And when some of those are appropriate to cut out and to bring into affix to this collage, may this wall need another piece of brown paper before the beginning of summer. That would be my hope and my challenge to you. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Until then,